going to talk about getting ranked in Google. So I wanted to explain, like I said, I wanted to explain how Google works. Okay, so there's three ways you can rank with Google. This is my opinion after doing this with very many websites. One way is what we call on-page factors. Okay, so if you have a web page, okay, what's on that web page for the human being, what they can see, and what Google can see is two different things. Okay, so one of the things that on page, some of the things that I like to do on every page that makes a huge difference is, first of all, the page has a name. Okay, so you want to have keywords. Okay, so what keywords are? Words or phrases. So when someone types into Google what they want, that's a keyword or a phrase. So the way you think about it is, if it was a 500-page book that you were handling, right? And you wanted to find out something about tying shoelaces, you would go to the index, okay? In the index, the book, it would tell you yes or no, it has that information. So you find something in the index and it says tying shoelaces, okay? It says it's on page 150. So now you know where to go look for that information. That same concept is exactly what Google is doing for you. So when you type into the search engines, that's like going to the back of that book and looking in the index and saying, "You got any shoelaces?" Okay. Now I'm going to get, in a minute, I'm going to get involved with how they actually do that. But for right now, just realize that a keyword or a phrase is no different than what would be listed in the index in the back of the book. Right? It's something that would be most commonly searched for in that subject or in that context or nomenclature. It would be in that subject. It would be the way the words would be used in that subject. Okay? So everything kind of works around the keywords. The reason why is because when somebody types in that information, just like the book, you got a 500-page book, you don't want to read the entire book. You want to go right to what you're looking for. So the whole internet kind of runs around that concept. Okay? So when you have a home page or you have a page, it could be any page, one of the things you want to do is put your keywords in the title. Okay? The other thing is you're going to want to put it in what they call the H1 tags, which just means headers or titles. Really all it is the size of the font. So when you go to a page and you see a headline, that's an H1 tag. Okay, so you're going to want it in there. Obviously, you're going to want it in your content. Okay? Now, if you go on the internet, you'll notice that there are things like words, and they're underlined there in blue. That's a link. You click on it, it takes you somewhere, right? So that's called a hyperlink. Means that it will go somewhere else. If I go too fast or you don't get this, just stop me, okay? The words that are in the hyperlink, okay, are called the anchor text. So this could be the word, or it could be, go visit my site. It could be, I got the best jacket in the world. But when you click on it, it doesn't matter how long or how short it is. The hyperlink could be many words. It could be one syllable. Whatever that is, that's called anchor text. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you put some anchor text in your site. Now, You don't have to make it exactly the keyword. It could be something that's relevant. Like if we were ranking for shoelaces, you might make the word shoe an anchor text. Make sense? I just want to make sure that's not someone banging on the door. Okay. So you want to make sure that that's in that anchor text. Okay? So what I do is I make sure that there's one link that goes to another page in your website. I'm going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. I just want to get the concept there. Okay? So you want to have one link. So here are the rules. So you want to have keyword in title. You want to have keyword as page name. You want a keyword in anchor text. Okay. Then you want to put a picture, some sort of a picture. I don't care what it is, just a picture. This is very important. These are kind of like things that Google looks at. You have a picture on your computer, right? And you upload it to your website. It has a file name on your computer. You're smart if you make the file name the same as your keyword. So don't just name it, like picture on page 1. If the keyword is shoelaces, name it shoelaces before you upload it to your website. Okay, so make sure the file name has the same keyword. Once you upload the picture, they're going to ask you for alt text, alternative text. That was originally for someone that, they say it was for someone that was blind. That's why it originally started. And they had software that would read the text and it couldn't read the picture, so they would put the alternative text in there and it would, that's what they say. I don't know if that's a myth or not. More importantly, Google can't see pictures. Google's a robot. It's a machine. They can't see pictures. So if you don't use the alternative text, it doesn't know what that picture is. So the alternative text tells Google what that picture is. Of course, you put the keyword as the alternative text. Then what I do is I make another, now I have tools to do this, and I can, they're not hard tools to use. You can go to moz.com and get these tools. I go out onto the web and I look for a high domain authority link. And I'll explain that if I need to. And I put that link here. So if I'm talking about shoelaces, I might go to like Better Business Bureau and see what they say about shoelaces. Or like I might go to NBC News and find out if there's a video about it. Or someplace that's not going to try to sell them shoelaces, but has good authority that Google likes, and outbound. So you want to have an outbound link, you want an inbound link, you want a picture, and then the keywords in your text. Now, what we're talking about is there's 3 ways to do search engine optimization. The first way is on-page factors. You can rank a site just by setting up the content and the layout and the meta tags and all that stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute. All that stuff, if it's done perfectly, Google will rank you. It's hard to do, but you can do it. All with on-page factors. Okay? The hardest part about it is that you have to constantly add content. Constantly change things, because Google doesn't like it to be stagnant. If nobody comes to the site and visits, Google doesn't like it. Okay? So that's on page, that's some light stuff on page factors. Let's talk about some off page factors. Does that make sense so far?
Yes, so far.
So let me cover one thing though. I told you before that you go to the back of the index book and you find information's on page 150. So you said you had a painting business?
Yes.
So let's say the word is, you probably hate it, but Benjamin Moore Paint. Okay? So the word is Benjamin Moore Paint. So Google goes and does this index thing and it says, oh, there's 2 websites that have that information. So how does it know which one to put first and which one to put second? So it used to be that it did page ranking. I'm not going to cover this because it's actually extinct. So it would rank pages 0 to 10. And the way it ranked the page is purely on its relevancy of how much content, how many things does this have that the reader will want to see. Well, like everything else in this world, too many black hat guys, and all black hat means is that Google's a robot. Okay, so white hat means you do what the robot wants you to do. Black hat means you're trying to game it or trick it. Okay, so to do good SEO, it's impossible to do it 100% white hat, but it's very possible to do 90-something% of the white hat. Okay, so used to be they ranked websites by the page rank. Now they call it domain authority. Okay, so domain authority goes from 0 to 100, and here's pretty much what happens. Google's named their algorithm changes very cleverly. The latest one is called a hummingbird change. The reason why is if you could picture a flower, and a hummingbird like goes all around the flower, right? Well, it's the same way now with your text. If you have text like this, and then you have your keyword here and text like that, what Google's doing is they used to just go and look at the keyword or that anchor text, the link. That's all they looked at. Now with this hummingbird, they're looking at all this other text to see if it's relevant. Because literally what people would do is they would talk, the link was shoelaces, but the site might be about peanut butter. And they were just putting a link there and getting away with it. So Google got onto that. So now what they're doing is they're making sure that the surrounding text has something to do with the keyword. Okay? When you do that, you get good domain authority. When you link to internal pages, like I showed you, you have your one page. Let's say you got a page about Benjamin Moore Paint. And it's all about Benjamin Moore Paint. Then you might have another page on primer before you use Benjamin Moore. Then you might have another page about how to scrape and prepare the wood if you're painting wood, or how to trim a window. Okay? These are all different pages with different keywords, but the site adds up to plenty of information about painting. The only way Google knows that they're relevant is if you point the Benjamin Moore page over to the scraping page, and the scraping page, you point that over to a page about paint windows. Now Google can follow those links and say, hey, this site's legitimate. It's about painting. That's how you get domain authority. It's not the only way. It's the easiest, most correct way. Okay, so when you're interlinking, it helps with your domain authority. And you can take a brand new site, and when you do what I'm telling you, within a month, have a domain authority of a 20 or 25, which is not bad. I think above a 20 is good. Okay? Obviously, 40, 50, and 60 is better, but. All right. off-page factors. That's number 2. Okay, so over here, the second way is off-page factors. So what does that mean? That means you have a page, or a website, we'll say a page, and you want to rank it. And you got your on-page factors all set. Okay? Now what you want to do is, the first thing you want to do is you want to have this thing called backlinks. Now what is a backlink? Remember I told you that hypertext? Yeah. That's one of those links on somebody else's site saying, hey, go check this site out. It's a backlink. We call it, its nickname is called votes. Like you're voting for that site. Okay? So the hardest thing to do with Google is to go find other domain authority, nice, healthy sites that will point back to your page. Okay? Now, I'm not pitching me here, but what makes me completely different than most SEO guys, and I'm not the only one, but I'm far and few between, is I own 60 to 70 news sites that have good domain authority, good page rank, they've got good, what we call link juice. So when I rank somebody's website, I put where some sites will put 200 links on one site and send them to 200 different customers and then charge them for that link. I don't do that. I don't do more than 10, sometimes 15. If I have a big client, I'll go out and actually set up a network just for him. I'll build the sites, or I'll buy the sites, you know, spend thousands of dollars to go buy sites, you know, to get that site to rank. Okay? But the point is that I control the sites. All right? Now, back in the day, which is 8 months, 12 months ago, you could rank a page by having a plethora or a lot of links. They could be junk links, but just having a lot of links. So it used to be the guy with the most amount of backlinks would rank a page. That changed. Now we're in June of 2015. That changed, I think, about a year ago or so. Okay? Now it's the quality of the link. So before, where you might have, say 2,000 links going to that site, you could rank the same site with 5 or 6 good links, because that's how Google wants it now. Makes sense. Okay? So backlinks is the first thing. The second thing is social. So Google's a robot. It can't talk. It wants to, but can't. What happened is the invention of Siri on cell phones. So what happened is the iPhone came out with Siri, and people started talking into the phone. And ironically enough, what happened was the queries or the search engines were not matching what people were saying. Either Google would misinterpret, Siri would misinterpret it, or mostly people would say things differently than the way they would type things. So Google that's why it changed to the hummingbird model, because now instead of just honing in on a one keyword, it looks at the whole article to see if any of the words the person's speaking are in that article. Make sense? Okay. So with that in mind, Google can't speak, and it wants to. So what is it doing? It's relying heavily on social media, where human beings are speaking by typing. They're typing. If you notice, the spelling and grammar and all that kind of stuff in Facebook and LinkedIn is not that good. It's because that's how people talk. Yeah. Right? It's just natural for them to do it that way. So as of now, like I said, we're in June of 2015. Google just wants to see that there are social sites hooked up to you. In my opinion, it's going to change, because I think what's going to happen is eventually, not too far down the road, I think within a year, maybe a year and a half, Google's going to start looking at how many times you post on your social media. But for right now, it's just this way. Okay? Now, something very important about social media. You want to do what we call optimize it. The word optimization just simply means getting the best effect for that word, or that link, or that whatever. So it's being the most effective for that property that you're using. So in this particular case, you want to be the most effective with your social media. So when you set up your Facebook page, and you set up your LinkedIn page, and you set up your Pinterest page, and you set up your YouTube page, minimally make sure that those are hooked to your website, so that Google knows they're connected. Now, there's other things to do to optimize social media, but the simplest thing to do is to make sure when you set up your business page for Facebook, it's got a link in there that goes back to your website. And it doesn't hurt to every once in a while throw in your social media conversations a link. Now, I've been to a few meetings recently, and it seems to be the newest thing that you should probably do the 90-10 rule. 90% of your content on social media should be information, 10% or less should be trying to sell. Now, being a marketeer for some years, there's one thing that I do know. I do know that you're better off selling information than your services. So just to make it simple, let's talk about a plumber. Let's say the plumber has an audience of 100 people, right? He's got 5 or 6 that have a leak. So if he promoted his services like I can stop the leak, he's only talking to 5 or 6 people. Right? If he were to switch and do what I'm saying and sell information, things like how to prevent your pipes from leaking, maintenance you can do on your pipes, how you can save money on not having leaking pipes, how you can cut your insurance costs, all these things. Now what that does is it gives him an opportunity to speak to those 100 people instead of the 5 or 6. It also makes him an opinion leader, so that when somebody gets a leak, they call him because they know he knows so much about it. So now, like in your business, you could talk about, painting tips and how not, if you get paint on your rug, how do you clean it up? How to trim, how to do trim easily, how to strip paint, how to primer, how to paint, what kind of paint you use on wood, what kind of paint you use on metal, and it doesn't have to be extensive, just short tips. And these are the things that you might want to promote on social media or any kind of information you put together. Okay? So if I was you, that's what I would do. The next thing that Google looks at is what we call citations. A citation is a funny word because it means different things to different people. It's not a speeding ticket. What a citation means online is your name, address, and phone number. And it's placed on a website like Yellow Pages or White Pages or Mantra, and the sole purpose of these sites is to give people information, contact information. That's the sole purpose of these sites. If you go to their site and you're looking for somebody's phone number, they hope you click on one of the ads around the phone number. Okay? So it's like a white page, yellow page thing, okay? The point of this is that there's 50 to 75 sites that you should put your name and address on that are important. Google feels that they're important. Now, it used to be a citation where you put your name, address, and phone number, doesn't have a backlink. So you just put your name, so that was the difference between a citation and a backlink. The citation, you put your name, address, and phone number there, it's just for the information. There's no link going back to your website. Nowadays, with the Web 2.0 stuff, more and more citations are allowing you to put a link in, which is very
recommended.
Yes, if you can put a link in there, absolutely. Because you want to know why? These citation sites had domain authority of 80, 90, and 100. Okay. So if you can get links for your citations in an 80, 90, or 100 domain authority, that's like really, that's like a great backlink.
How do you find out the domain authorities on the website?
There's tools. Go to moz.org.
Okay.
Yeah. Moz, just type in Moz, search engine Moz, and you'll find it. They have tools there. You can download the tools and put them on your browser. Okay? So basically, Google comes along, okay? I missed this on the on-page factor, so I'm going to cover this. It comes along and it looks at your title, it looks at your keywords, and it looks at your description of the page. So if somebody types in shoelaces, Google comes along and looks at the title, the keywords, and the description to see if there's anything mentioned about shoelaces. Then it scans the page. Is there anything there about shoelaces? If there's one or multiple pages and they're all linked together, it's like, oh, we like this. I can tell you, I analyze 3 to 5 sites a week for all kinds of industries. Almost 95% of them don't have this set up. This is easy to do, but it's not done. So what's happening is Google's marching right on by because there's no title, there's no keywords, there's no description. They're called meta tags. Meta means before or after. So these tags are either before the content or after the content. In the online world, meta tags are always before, but meta means before or after. So these tags, and it's exactly that, it's a tag, so that when Google comes by, it can say, oh, that's what this site is about. Okay? Then it goes out, now that it's done that, it's taking a look at the meta tags, it's taking a look at the content, it took a look at the picture, because now it's stopping. It's not just driving right on by, it's stopping like, whoa, wait a minute, it's got something here. This is how we index it. It takes a look at this and it indexes it into the back of the 500-page book based on this data. So now when somebody comes and types it in, oh yeah, we got one of those. Then it takes a look at the off-page factors, which are the backlinks. How many good, relevant backlinks are there? It takes a look at, oh, look, there's social media to this site. It's hooked to this site. Oh, this must be an active site because they're social media. The fact that you don't even have to be using it, just the fact that it's optimized and it's hooked together, Google's like, oh yeah, it's alive and it's well. Then it goes off and it looks at the citations. And it says, oh, look, this business is registered on 75 websites with the exact same name, address, and phone number. You can't say, you can't put Main Street on one citation and then do Main Street on another citation. Those are two different businesses at Google. Okay. So if you do Main Street, put a dot, then every citation has to look exactly that way. If one decimal is off, Google won't recognize it. It'll actually penalize you once it figures it out.
So you want to have as many citations as possible?
Yep. Okay. So you could make it easy for you. Go to this website. It's called brightlocal.com. And you could check your citations, you can manage them, you can pay them to do them for you, right? Look at that. White Spark is another one, whitespark.com. I have used those tools in the past. I have found you're better off doing them manually. So when I have a client that comes on, I do my clients manually. We don't do them manually because it's much better that way. But if you go to Bright Local, at least you can get the names of the websites. And you can look at what you are on, what you aren't on, and then go actually fix them manually yourself. It's labor intensive. You know, it's weeks for the work. Yeah. And lately we do on a website. Like I just built a website this week. We'll probably do 300 citations, but it's a competitive site. Okay. All right. So let's talk about that in a minute, because I want to talk about the difference between ranking. Why would you do citations? What's the purpose of doing citations? So when you pull up the search engine result page, its nickname is SERP, S-E-R-P. You'll see on the top of the page, you'll see ads. On the side of the page, you'll see ads. Right? These are Google ads, Google AdWords. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then there's a very light gray line. It's getting lighter and lighter. It's getting harder and harder to see. And then you have your Google rankings. These are called organic rankings. Okay? Often, and this switches, this changes, often there's one or two Google rankings, and then you'll notice that you'll have a name and that little map, right?
Yep.
Name and that little map, and then the address and phone number over here, right? Little map, I'm not going to look at my picture here, but, okay? Sometimes you'll see one, sometimes you'll see 7. Its nickname is called the 7-pack because Google will put 7 local businesses in there. Some sites, depending on the website, depending on the Google AdWords, how many people are bidding, you won't have Google AdWords over here on this side because nobody's bidding on the AdWords, so Google doesn't have anything to put there. It will take the top one of these and feature a business on the right side. Okay, and then underneath it'll have all the information, name, address, and phone number. It'll take number 1 and feature it on the side. All that means is that nobody's bidding for that key. The keywords are typed in, nobody's buying those keywords. So Google needs to put something there. So they put the maps over there. I've got a couple clients that are like that. I'm going to tell you, they get tons of phone calls from that. Okay, all right. I want to finish this and then come back to that. Okay. So the third way to rank a website is a hybrid model, where you take you do a little bit of on-page factor, you do a little bit of off-page factor, and you win. So that's where I'll go in. That's how I do most of my SEO. I'll go into the customer site. I'll change some wording. I'll change header, H1 tags or H2 tags. I'll check their keywords, I'll check their meta tags, make sure, and I'll just kind of clean it up. Make sure their keywords are even on the site. Because the golden rule with Google is content. Unique content, not spun content, not content stole from another website, not some weird, funny content. You know what spun content is?
Or when it's reused from someone else.
Yeah, and they spin it, they mix the words up, right? They were teasing me the other night, you know, they say an SEO guy walks into a bar, a cafe, a lounge, and he orders a beer, a wine, or a scotch. He sits on a stool or a bench or a chair. It's fun content, you know, and it's busting my balls last night, right? So on-page factors, I'll go in and I'll make sure that the content is unique. I have tools to check that. I'll make sure that there's, you know, the keywords are sprinkled in. I'll make sure the page, so I'll just check that stuff. Then I'll go do my off-page factors. I'll put my backlinks on there. I'll make sure I have my social media, and I make sure I got my citation set up. That's the hybrid model. I make sure I got the whole package in it, and it's a lot of work nowadays to do that because it used to be done with just tools and just throw a lot of links there and you rank. So the days of a search engine optimization guy charging you $300 to $500 at home. There are guys still doing it, but they're not ranking sites. You know, in my world, I'm not saying that this is, but it's usually several $1,000s to rank a site a month, and it takes 6 to 8 months to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and sometimes I'll work days on a website each month to make it work. Okay. Now, does that mean that you can rank a site a lot less? Absolutely. It depends on the competition. It depends on the keywords. It depends on the niche. It depends on how many other websites are competing for that keyword. You know, I can go into a market where there's 200 people, 200 websites competing for a keyword. In that case, it's not all that well. So there's a lot of research. The keywords are huge. Unique content. I told you I just got done building the site. It's for my wife. I wrote 8,000 words of content for 13 pages.
That's the other video I meant. She recommended blogging, so you have constantly new content.
But you have to write the content. You can't, it has to be something that's written.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's why SEO guys get paid what they get paid now, because they have to do stuff like that. It's time consuming. And Google intentionally did that. It's not a mistake.
Yeah, I would think they'd have to make it right, you know?
So to be fair. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's how you rank a website. Now I want to talk to you now, because you don't have a website yet. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go into, and this has changed a couple times, so it depends on how you type it in and what you get. Go to Google, you can go to Google Maps, google.com/maps, or go to google.com/business. I think it's called business now. Basically, what you want to do is you want to register your business name with Google. You don't need a website to do this, by the way. And that's changing because I've been in a few forums lately. They're saying that you can't do this anymore, but I think it's not 100% true. So I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to give you the caveat with me. So what you do is you go to Google Business, you register your name in Google Maps. That means that you have to type it exactly the way I told you. It has to be the same exact way that you're going to put on all your citation sites. Okay. To do that, Google wants to verify that you're a real live business. So they're going to mail you a postcard to the address that you registered the business at. It takes about a week. Once you get the postcard, you take the verification number, go back into the Google Maps page, and put the verification code in there. Google will not show your page or do anything with you until you've verified your business. Google is extremely local conscious right now. It's catering 100% to local people. It's so much so that on April 21st of this year, they released, actually it was a month before that, which was the first time Google's ever done that. They said in a month, we're doing this algorithm change, get your sites ready. They've never done that before. Every other time they've done it and surprised everyone, tried to trick them. What the release was, it was called Mobilegeddon. And what the release was, is it said if your site is not mobile optimized, in other words, if somebody can't see your website on their mobile phone in a mobile version, we will not rank your site. The reason why I think they're doing that is because they're going 100% local. Because what happens is, if you type your keywords in and you show up in the 7-pack, on a cell phone, all you see is a 7-pack. You don't see all this stuff. You see the 7-pack first on your cell phone, and underneath each tab it says call. On a cell phone. They're catering to local businesses. Because what they want is they recognize if you're in your car, you're looking for pizza, you say pizza in New Haven, Connecticut, or you can't do that in New Haven, but pizza in Westville, because there's so many of them, right? Pizza, or Gargano's Pizza, or whatever the name of the place is, right? Pepe's Pizza, right? And it will bring up the maps on a cell phone. There's separate algorithms, or that there's going to be, there's rumor that there's going to be separate algorithms, but it hasn't changed that. Right now, that's how it is. Okay, so you go to Google Maps, get yourself registered, get the verification code, verify your business. So now it's potential of the maps. Go to one of those sites I was telling you about, Bright Local or White Spark, and get some citations. Go to Yext if you want. Yext will charge you $500 for the year to do it. I charge $1,000. The only reason why is because Yext is using a tool I'm not. I'm going to do it the right way, and we're going to verify it. Okay, we check them. We don't just put them there. We actually do them and then go back and check them. Okay? So, but that's irrelevant. I'm just saying that it's a good way to start. You could do it yourself with White Spark or with Bright Local and spend the time. Now, if you get those 50 or 75 citations and you're registered with Google, and one more thing I'm going to tell you in a minute, you'll start popping up. Now, when you register with Google under Google Maps or Google Business, it's going to ask you to make a Google Plus page. You have to have a Google Plus page.
So you have to, for the business?
For the business, and you're going to use the same exact name and address and phone number that you put in Google Maps, and it's the same exact name, address, and phone number that you're going to put in your citations. Then when you build your website, which I didn't talk about, I didn't cover that, part of the on-page SEO is you want to make sure that your name, address, and phone number is on each page so that it can go look for them. So part of your on-page factors is name, address, and phone number. When you build your website, you can put your name on, and it will find that too. But because you don't have a website yet, you could do this. You could go register in Google Business, on Maps, go do your citations, get 50 or 75 of the good ones, and they'll show you, those sites will show you which ones they are, and you'll start showing up in Maps. Now, I have friends of mine and people in forums that are saying if you're not ranked on the first page of Google, you don't show up in Maps. I don't think that's 100% true, but it's coming. But for now, it's not. I don't see it that way. Okay? Especially, now if you go and type in a keyword and you see that there's only 3 businesses here, you know what that tells you? There's 4 more spots that they couldn't find somebody to put there, so they only showed 3. So it's not hard for you to go do what I'm telling you and rank. But your business will now, and especially if you have this, your business, now you're on the first page of Google. It doesn't matter if you have a website. Okay? Make sense? Good. So here's the second thing I would advise you to do. This is, as far as I'm concerned, the pink elephant in the room that everybody overlooks. Or talks about it, but doesn't do it. And this is for you just because you're here tonight. I'm not sure about other people, but because you're here, we're gonna slant this all towards you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's no problem, that's what you came for. If we had other people here, I'd have to cover other things, but we don't have that, so. It's this big word that everybody talks about. YouTube. Before you leave, I will give you my personal email address, if you want. You email me, and I will send you a checklist on how to optimize a YouTube channel.
I don't have one yet.
Okay. You have a smartphone?
Yeah.
So here's what I would do if I was you. So do the other thing. Do that first. Okay? Do the social media. That doesn't hurt anything. Okay? But I wouldn't spend all my time doing that if you don't have a website. You could do it, and you could talk about yourself, build yourself a Facebook page, but do this stuff first because this will get you better results.
Okay.
Then go do that. Do it all, but just do it in the right way. So now you do the whole local thing. Okay? You got a smartphone?
Yeah.
Download the YouTube app. While you're working, like suppose you're working on a window and there's some scraping or something there that's a little bit interesting. Take your camera out, your iPhone or your smartphone out. Take a 2-minute video of what you're doing. Actually describe it as you're doing it while you're working. Upload it to YouTube. You take my check sheet and you optimize the video and the channel. What will happen is you'll start showing up in Google because Google owns YouTube. Okay, so that's just one thing you could do that. Now the other thing is, now that you have the video on your YouTube channel, go to your YouTube channel, get the link off of it, and go put it on Facebook. And I got something to talk about. Okay. The other thing is, if you want to, go blog. There are other people's blogs that have similar things like this old house or, restorations places, and see if they'll let you put your video on their blog. Okay, these are things if you don't have a website. Okay, and these are not hard to do. These are things you can do a little bit here, a little bit there. Okay, just keep building. Okay, all right. More importantly than that, exactly what we're doing here. Do a Hangout video. You have a computer. You have a camera. Just sit in front of it, and just like what we did tonight. Okay. You know why? Google, the spoiled brats that they are, love Hangouts because it's their tool. They invented it. They want to show it off. They put it in the search engine. So much so that recently, when I do screen shares and I'm doing training videos, like I have Camtasia, I'll do a video like, point here, click there, and I'll show either my virtual assistant how to do something or one of my clients or something. I'll video it and then send them the link. Google is such a spoiled brat now that now I'm taking those videos and uploading them into a live Hangout and then posting the video. Because once your YouTube channel is optimized, the way I'm going to show you how to do it, okay, you've now put a Hangout in there, the likelihood of it showing up in a Google search engine is huge. Okay? So 3 things. 1, you're going to go to Google Maps and register your site. 2, you're going to go get citations. Right? 3, get some videos on a YouTube channel, get the YouTube channel optimized, and start. And of course, do things. Now, part of optimizing it is when, like I told you with the pictures, if you have a video, name the file on your computer the keyword. So now when you upload it, Google sees the keyword, The title of it is the keyword. The description, this is huge. So many people don't do this. 500 to 600 words to describe what you're doing. So remember I told you when I optimize a page, there's certain things you want on the page. I treat this YouTube channel just like it's a page.
Okay.
I still want 500 or 600 words of content on that page. Then in the bottom, I put all the keywords in the bottom, right in the content. Before I even start my article, I put my phone number. Recently, I put my phone number in the keyword in the header. And if it's a Google Hangout and it's got 500 or 600 words and the keywords are down there and the phone number is in there, it ranks like 24 hours. If it's the right keyword. But think of this. This phone number is going to match your Google Maps, your Google Plus page, right? They're all going to match. YouTube has a domain authority of like 90. So it works as a citation for you to your website or to your citations.
Is 90 the highest?
100. Yeah, Google's the only one.
Okay.
A lot of them are 95, 98, 96. All right, so you got all that because I'm going to give you another trick.
Sure.
When you have your citations, now in your case, you don't have a website. You've got these 50 to 75 sites, right? Every one of them has a link. Juice up, meaning send links to your citations. So take this citation link and put it in the description.
Okay.
Take 5 or 6 of them or 8 of them and put them in your YouTube video in the description. Because what that will do is if you make enough videos, it will send backlinks to your citations. So now you'll show up number 1 on the citation because not only do you have 50 or 75 of the right citation, but now you're juicing those links up with the domain authority of 90-something. So take those links and put them right. So make sure you put your phone number, make sure you put your name, address, and phone number in the YouTube video. Put your 500 to 600 page word description there, and put some of your links from your citations right in there. So, again, I'm being very narrow tonight. For a guy like you that doesn't have a website, this is how you rank. Now, there's many other ways to rank, but this is the simple way. This is what you should, I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just, I have a very strong opinion. Okay? I skipped one. So you do your maps, you do your citations, you do your Google Plus page, I forgot that last time, and you do your YouTube. And we're done. You use the same keywords over and over again. You want to make sure you're going to Google AdWords and check and make sure that people are actually visiting. Just don't pick a keyword and say, I'm going to search for that, because there are going to be 10 people looking for that one. Go into Google AdWords. Make sure that there's people searching for that word. 50 or 100 people a month. Don't try to go after 14,000 people a month, because you're not going to rank for that. But 50, 100, 35, 85, 90. That's 90 people that are in your local area that will find you.
Yeah.
You get 2 people call you, what's fine with that?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
So, but all these platforms, and again, I'm not discrediting anything from social media, but I don't, in my opinion, I would not go spend 5 hours a week posting on social media. You can do that eventually.
Yeah, I think
But to get results, do like I said, to get your Google Maps,
Yeah.
Get your citation set up, get your Google Plus set up, get your YouTube channel, because in your YouTube, now if your name and phone number's in the title, you're on #1 page of Google, and it says Benjamin Moore Paint, and then a phone number, what do you think is gonna happen? Somebody's gonna call. That's better than ranking a website.
Yeah.
Not better, but as good.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Now, maybe some people won't just call off of a video, but it's outflow. It's just getting your name out there, and it's in big numbers. So it can't hurt.
No, it's good.
Right? So it's a nice little system if you don't have social media. I mean, if you don't have a website. And now all that's good, like you said before, we were talking before with the social media, that's all good. But where you're at right now, you're waiting for your names and you're waiting for your trademarks, you could do this. Because you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna build your website and connect all this shit to it.
So you think I just, like, for my trademark idea, I should start with doing stuff like this already, even though there's nothing out there?
Absolutely.
Because the only thing I'm concerned with too is the guy owns the trademark right now.
Mhm.
Someone else owns it, and I'm pretty confident that he's gonna end up abandoning it, just letting it run out.
Mhm.
So, but if I'm concerned if I start doing stuff, then it's gonna maybe he checks out.
What town do you live in?
What town do I live in?
I think it's from Denver, right?
Denver, yeah.
So just do the keywords and then put in Denver
Oh, okay.
or in Connecticut. Is
Okay.
there a guy in Connecticut?
No, he's Fairbanks, Alaska.
What was the words again?
What's that?
The trademark?
Life's great.
Life's great
Apostrophe S.
in Connecticut.
Okay.
Life's great in Denver. Life's great in New Haven. Life's great in Bridgeport. Now it's not, it's different.
Okay, so I'm just creating awareness right now.
Yeah.
For that. Okay.
But more importantly, you got a business name, right?
Yeah.
So just use, I would just use the business name.
Okay.
You know, because that's what you're gonna set up your Google Plus page, that's what you're gonna set up your.
Yeah. 'Cause I have, it's R/O designs.
Yeah.
So
when you set up your Google Plus page and your Google Maps, and you're gonna wanna rank in the 7-pack, just use your business name, 'cause you're gonna need to do that anyways.
Okay.
At least you can get started, and then later on, when you get the trademark, you go back and just kind of add to it.
Yeah, just featuring.
And you can always go do another channel, another set of, another Google Maps, and you can set up another system for it. Make sense?
Yeah, makes awesome sense.
Good help?
Definitely, I'll start doing some of this stuff tonight.
Good. I'm gonna shut the video off.
Okay.
All right, thanks guys on the video for paying attention.